brave go-getter, fearless, humble, multi-platform content creator, producer and presenter, and a strong advocate for women's sports and sports in general. Ayishatu Zakaria Ali shares her experiences from her journey to Switzerland as AIPS Young Reporter.
Well, so I went to Switzerland for a 1-week intensive journalism training organized by the International Sports Press Association. So it was in Lausanne, but then we traveled to Zurich also. I was excited. I was very excited. See, I remember the first time I got the email. I went for a lunch break with a few of my colleagues, so I saw the email and I couldn't believe it. So it took me 2 days to reply the email. I mean, I actually didn't even reply because there's a lady who works with AIPS in Italy at their headquarters in Lausanne. So she reached out to me on Twitter telling me that, oh, we sent you an email, did you receive it? So I was like, okay, so this thing is real. Then I went to reply. I remember I mean, apart from my colleagues that I was working with, the first person I told was our director, Mr. Timothy, and I was over the moon. I was so excited because I've never been outside Africa before, so I knew it would be an interesting experience. And being the only Ghanaian to represent, it was overwhelming. It was a roller coaster because, I mean, I've never experienced winter before in my life. I was born in Boku, the northern part of Ghana, so I'm used to the heat, the hot weather, and going to Lausanne, and now you have to adjust to the winter, and then meeting 21 journalists from 4 different continents and different countries was interesting. I mean, people thought it was a form of vacation, but that was different. It wasn't the case because I thought like, okay, you go and then have fun. It was all business. I mean, the day that we actually got to Lausanne was the day that the program started because we went to the the Olympic Museum where I saw the costume of one of our athletes, and Kwesi Frimpong was so. I was very emotional about that because I mean you have a lot of these countries that are doing so well, and then you have one of our own being represented. It was an emotional moment for me. In the mornings we have class, afternoon you have class. Sometimes you have class in the morning, then you go to these different federations. We went to FIFA. It was very special because you have the opportunity to meet these federation heads and have an interaction with them, build relationship, build a network that as a journalist that I believe it will help you. We went to cast the court of arbitration for sports, and you know, for Ghana, interestingly, like we are always at cast. Every year there's a case, Ghana Football Association or a club is taking the association to cast. So for me to be able to be there and then understand how they work and why it actually takes them a long time to bring out a verdict was an eye-opening for me. And the visit to the Olympic Museum, as I mentioned, and then FIFA Museum, that was where I saw the lockers. We have Baba Yara there, and it was actually shocking because I mean I was thinking Abedi Pele was there, so I mean he is Abedi Pele, but to see Baba Yara name written on a locker was special because even in Ghana here, apart from the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, we don't have his name is not written anywhere. So for him to be recognized at that level was very special. And I mean, the visit to Fisu, all the visits were special. I don't want to mention, but the one at the FIFA Museum was very special. And FIFA, I mean, you cannot, and COVID time, the place was shut down, but I mean, they invited us in and it was quite interesting. Yes, it did. Well, because for Ghana, interestingly, I don't know why, but apart from the fact that we like to shout when we are presenting on air, we are also so quick to break the news and we take what people say as the fact. I'm sad to say this, but then I think sports journalism in Ghana is now about who is first to break the news, instead of fast checking and then going, just opening your brain to different angles and different side of the story, and actually questioning yourself and doubting yourself before you put out any form of information. And for me, it was an eye-opener. The way I used to view journalism in Ghana, or sports journalism in Ghana, has changed. Because for me, I've now understood that when you put out any information and it's wrong, your reputation as a journalist, you have destroyed it. It doesn't matter whether before that you have been given accurate information, or even after that you give accurate information. The fact that as a journalist you gave out the wrong information, that is it. You are done, and you don't expect anybody to take it serious. And it is also important to build relationship with people in authority, but do not let it cloud your judgment, because in Ghana, yeah, I mean, people are known to be taking favors and stuff. And as a journalist, I think after Luzano, after the AIPS program, I've made a lot of changes in my career. I mean, positively, because before the training, Ayishatu Zakaria Ali is women's football, women's sports. I've actually learned that it's okay to be an advocate for a particular cause, but you shouldn't shut the doors on other avenues or other angles of the industry. So whilst I'm advocating for women's sports and women in football or women in sports in general, I can actually look at the other sporting activities, give them attention, so that in my cause to even promote women's sports, I can learn one or two things from the other sporting disciplines and what they are doing and what I can use to help women's sports. And once again, very important thing that I've learned is never be the first person to ask questions during press conferences. Don't be the first, because the moment you are the first person to ask, your question has been answered. And mostly when you go for press conferences, they don't like giving you a second chance after you have asked the question. So it's good to sit back, allow one or two people to ask the questions, and then you can get, then you know how the coach or the person that is in front of you thinks and the kind of responses he's giving. You are able to build your questions and then even ask a better questions compared to what you have already written, and then you put into the press conference. And important for me is, I mean, everybody has been complaining, do not ask long questions. Don't ask the question and answer them. Very important. The world is watching. I mean, you might think that you are in your little corner, you don't have any presence on air, on radio or television. So for you, because you are not regular on TV or on radio, you just think that, okay, I'm just wasting my time. That is not true, because as I sit here, I don't have any show of my own, but through social media and then any chance that I get to go on air, I try to sell myself. That is, it pays, because I mean, the fact is that people have occupied the spaces. Those on air are always going to be on air. So you have to be innovative, you have to be creative, and then you think outside the box. A cliche, I know, but you have to think outside the box. And then network is very important. Don't just sit in Ghana and think that sports journalism is just around Ghana. No, you have to follow the right people on social media. Make sure that your presence on social media is felt, and you'll be shocked the kind of people who reach out to you. I mean, you don't actually need to go the traditional way, being on TV before you can make an impact, or be on radio before you can make an impact. Social media is there. The world is watching. So I'm sure if I was to scale, I'll do this. You can't see me. Probably that. Thank you for having me.
Like and subscribe and click on the notification. Happy FM.